Alrighty, thank you so much for tuning in to this month's edition of our Women in Motorcycling interviews. My name's Jemma and I'm part of Motorcycling Australia's Women's Committee. One of our absolute major goals is to promote women in the industry and give them a platform to share their story and to tell us why they love the industry and bikes so much. So for this month, we have Emma Notarfrancesco with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So if you out there follow anything ASBK, you would have seen Emma's face before. My absolute first question is, how, Emma, did you get to this point as ASBK presenter, and what led you to motorcycling?
Well, it's been a very long journey. I actually started in media about 10 years ago now, and I started in a traffic chopper, would you believe it? That's how I started my media journey. And I went from traffic chopper chick to big screen reporter in supercars to ground reporter at soccer events to ASBK TV host. And I've been with ASBK, this is the 4th year now. ASBK TV host, obviously in the pit lanes as well. And then just starting last year, I became executive producer, which has been another awesome challenge. And it's one of the greatest moves I've made. So love 2 wheels. Everyone always says 4 wheels or 2 wheels, because obviously I started my career in 4 wheels. I cannot answer that, it's too hard, but I love my 2 wheels. Everyone loves the racing in 2 wheels, right? It's probably more exciting than 4 wheels. I didn't say that. But yeah, I absolutely love the job that I'm in now, the role that I'm in, and it's presented a lot of challenges, but it's given me some of the greatest experiences, and I've met some amazing people in this lane. So I'm really excited to go racing again.
Yeah, absolutely. We certainly all are. That's really cool. I did personally wonder, how you got there, and starting as the chopper chick, I didn't know that, so that's pretty cool. All right, so 4 years, and you've changed a lot your roles in ASBK in 4 years. But why have you stayed? What's your favourite thing about ASBK and the industry as a whole?
I think watching this sport, being a part of something that you've watched, years ago, I didn't see it, it was basically in the ground, and I hear the stories that, PD and Simon and everyone up above tell me about how it was literally in the ground, and how they took it from the ground and, revitalized this championship. And even when I started, we were just live streaming, a little bit of coverage here and there on the weekends, some of the races, some of the qualifying. We moved up to SBS Live. Now we're Fox Sports Live, we're SBS Live. We're now moving to an extra hour of coverage every weekend. Then we're live streaming, we're doing this on socials, where the team just grows and grows and grows. Being a part of a championship, firstly, that you're growing with and you're watching grow every single month, every single year, is impressive. The family is amazing. You've seen how it is a real pit lane family. Everyone there is amazing. Every single crew member, every volunteer, every team, every rider, all the wives and the girlfriends and the kids. It really is one big happy family. That's what makes me get up and jump out of bed on a race weekend. But obviously as well, the racing is impressive in every single category. So I don't think I'll ever be able to say goodbye. I'll probably be there in another 20 years' time.
Yeah, that's really cool. To be a part of something, from the ground up yourself and see it grow in 4 years would be really, really exciting. And it would definitely, your roots are there, and it would be certainly hard to move on from that for sure. So obviously ASBK is an Australia-wide circuit. So you travel with the ASBK to do the presenting, and how often are you away? How much do you get to travel with this job?
Yeah, so we were going to have we were going to have 2 official tests this year, and then it was going to be 7 rounds. Everything's obviously gone a little bit different to what we'd planned. So I'm with them every round, and I head to the tests as well. So which is lots of fun. I mean, it's like traveling with all your buds. on race weekends. You eat breakfast with them, you go on coffee runs with them, you eat dinner with them, and sometimes, you're on the phone chatting to them about what's going to happen the next day, even when you're lying in bed. So, yeah, it is lots of fun traveling with them. Obviously, I do a lot of travel with other gigs on the side as well. So I'm a professional traveller now. I know how to pack a suitcase within about 10 minutes. And I still sometimes end up putting some of my shoes and my jackets and whatever in Phil's and Steve's suitcases, because I'm always over for some reason when we're traveling somewhere. I don't know how it happens. So it is a lot of fun to travel with such a cool family.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like it. I liken it to, you go on school trips, with all your friends.
Yeah, it is like that. Feel like camp.
Yeah.
And you're just, I don't know how we don't get kicked out of some motels. So a lot of the time we take over most of the motel, but we're sitting outside having a yarn, and it's like 10:30 at night, and we're so loud. Haven't been kicked out of anywhere yet, which is great.
But yeah, definitely the people are keeping you in ASBK as well, which is awesome. And that's what we love to hear about the motorcycle industry. Obviously, very female focused here in this interview. So what changes have you seen in ASBK in the past 4 years yourself as working within ASBK? But before that as well, what's the changes? How many more women are involved in racing, but also just in the paddock?
Yeah, I think definitely I've seen just in the paddock a lot more women come into the lane, and even just in families, like a lot more of the wives and the girlfriends coming down and bringing the kids along, which has been great to see. A lot more women volunteers. I've been in other lanes in the past where I haven't seen a lot of women involved. I haven't had a lot of women to hang out with. Haven't had women in our broadcast or anything. So then, at night time, I'm like, I'll just hang out with the boys. But yeah, in this lane, there are quite a lot of women involved, which is great to see. And I have seen a lot more women racing, which is fantastic. And I hope to see more. Why wouldn't you want to race in these series?
Yeah. And so a big difference between a lot of the other disciplines and ASBK is the women race with the men. So in enduro and motocross, you might be on the same track and even sometimes at the same time, but you're getting scored differently. So women scored against women, men scored against men. But ASBK all combined, is that right?
They're all combined, yeah. So we had, I think, 6. I did an interview, actually. If you can go back through our archives, there was last year at one stage we had 6 women in the 300 class racing together, which was fantastic. And we do have some great talent, some great women talent in our lane. Is it about, getting out there and broadcasting it to women that, this is available to you to get into? Is it about getting the grassroots and telling girls at a younger age that this is available? I'm not sure. I mean, maybe if I was told at a younger age that this is available, I would have gotten into it. But, when I was younger, we never got told that these things were available, or we never knew that it was there. And that's why, I'm doing things like I spoke to a bit earlier about the program that I'm involved with, Dare to Be Different, which is an initiative we go into schools and we get young girls involved in motorsport. We just tell them a little bit about what's out there in motorsport. It doesn't necessarily have to be racing, but, things behind the scenes like engineering and becoming a mechanic. And I just think, if I knew about that at school, if I was involved in any sort of workshop like that, maybe I would be riding motorbikes at the moment. You just never know. But maybe it is about getting out there and telling women a bit more about what you can be involved in.
Yeah, it's hard for a young girl to strive for something that she doesn't know exists, that's for sure. So,
yeah, exactly. That's why I'm telling my niece now, I'm like, get into this. She's only 4. But she's already got a motorbike helmet, so we'll see.
It's big changes, and for us coming through, it was the unknown, but it's not like that anymore. The young girl watching TV and seeing you presenting and seeing 6 girls on the start line, she's like, well, I can aspire to that and more. So yeah,
exactly.
That's for sure, but they take time. That's okay. Do you think that having so many women in the pits on bikes and off bikes changes the atmosphere at ASBK?
Well, just me. I've got people to hang out with. No. Yeah, I think it might. I think it just makes it more family, and maybe that shows that more fans and families can come down. Maybe that makes it more attractive for families to head down to an event like that. I think it does create a little bit more of a different atmosphere, and we are seeing more and more families come down. Well, I've noticed that over the years, so I think it does. Don't you?
Yeah, just
walking up and down the lane, and it's not just all men everywhere. As a spectator, I think it makes it a little bit more inclusive and attractive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It certainly would. If you were sitting on the outside going, oh, it's something I might like to do, but I'm going to be the only girl there. A lot scary. If, oh, she's there, I could go there. Yeah, it's just the ball's going to start rolling and keep rolling and pick up pace.
Yeah, and if you're watching it on TV as well, and see, like a bit of a 50-50 in the crowd, then maybe next time it would make you want to go down. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, definitely.
Never thought of that.
And like from my off-road background, ASBK, it's a new sort of concept to me, which is sad that our disciplines do keep ourselves so separate. But yeah, speaking to people like yourself and some other women on the committee that are way more road focused, it's really exciting to learn about the road side of things. And obviously COVID has changed everything, but I was really looking forward to get to Phillip Island in October for the ASBK round there and things, but we'll see what happens. But I'm really excited myself to come and get involved in some way and just see what's going on.
Yeah, and everyone sort of hangs out, around the back of the trucks, and it just, doesn't really matter if you're rivals or whatever, families hang out at the back, and there's tables everywhere, and I just go around at lunchtime and see what's cooking. See what food still. Like, so what do you guys got for lunch? And then it's the end of the day, I'm like, so where's the wine?
No, that's perfect. And and from a business and marketing perspective too, you're opening yourself up to another twice the amount of people, and ticket sales and things as well. So it's definitely a smart move, being a more inclusive environment. So well done to everyone at ASBK for making that happen.
Yeah, I think ASBK can be very proud of what they've done and what they've built, that's for sure.
Very cool. All right, so moving on to our questions that we are going to ask all of the ladies that we interview here. So this is a lot more about you, and I'm looking forward to finding out about your journey in motorcycling. So first of all, what was the driving force behind you becoming involved in the sport?
I would say it was my passion. And the passion came from, my journey of growing up as a tomboy with my two older brothers, watching, Formula One and soccer and sport and motorsports from a really young age. And as you get older, you start to love even more motorsport. You go into Formula One, so you start watching Porsche and supercars, and then you start watching MotoGP, so then you start going to the MotoGPs. And I think when your passion and career come together, it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, easy to stay involved. If you have a passion for it, isn't it? Less of a job.
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel like I'm working most of the time. It's a really nice feeling, and I'm really grateful for where I am today.
That's really cool. So second question, what kind of challenges do you face as a woman, and how do you overcome them in the industry?
I think the biggest one from the beginning was, because when I started back in the day, there weren't a lot of women involved in lanes. I think now what you'll find when you turn on the TV is, there's always a woman involved in the broadcast lineup. But back in the day, that wasn't always the case. So I think that the hardest thing has been, proving myself and proving that I do like motorsport. And at the start, I was always like, I do, like, I promise. I've got look, I'm wearing my Ferrari hat, or, look on my Instagram, I was at this, the other weekend, and now I'm just like, whatever, I don't really care. If you don't think that I like it, then that's fine. I've proved myself for the past however many years. I've done this. Don't Google me. Do Google me. That's fine. But from the beginning, it was all about, I've had a bike since I was, 4 years of age. I've done this, and this. But you really did have to prove that you did like their sport, that you were into it, that you knew your stuff, that you cared, that you had a passion. and you did have to gain the respect of people, which was quite difficult. But I do believe on the flip side that it is on you as well. So, you know, you're not going to sit there and do my whole little sob story of, oh my God, this person doesn't want to talk to me, because it is on you to take the time and to gain the knowledge, to do the research, and to also gain the respect. You can't just waltz into a pit lane and expect to walk into a garage and just get someone's interview. You really do need to take the time to gain their respect and to get to know people and, yeah, know your stuff. So that's the way to do it, I think.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, and I know from personal experience, you have to work a lot harder as a female in the industry. Yeah. But like you said, yes, you have to work hard at anything if you want to make it. So it is what it is. And
I don't think it's just our sport. Like, I think it's, you know, across the board, like, you know, in a lot of industries that you do have to do that as well.
Yeah. And speaking to people before this interview about you and your background and stuff, and a lot of people said that you have the respect of the riders. So it's obviously something that you've put in effort and you've earned. So well done. Nice. Alrighty. So third question: what is the greatest gift that the industry has given you?
I would say, well, I did find a lot of creativity in this skill set that I really, you know, did not know that I had, like when I became the executive producer. Strength, but I think the biggest is the thick skin. At the beginning, I could not handle rejection at all. And over time, I just have, you know, like really thick layer of skin. You've got to be really strong. You know, you can't take things personally. Even, you know, things like on social media, what people will say, you know, you can't read into anything like that. But yeah, it's definitely given me some thick skin. So if you want to get into this industry, make sure that you've got yourself a set of thick skin before coming into it, because it's definitely needed.
Definitely not a bad skill to have, and at least you got to learn it in something you enjoyed doing. So. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, did you say skill? Did I answer that wrong?
That was gift. That was the gift one. Yes.
Oh,
great
okay.
Gift you have been given. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, cool.
All right. So I think we've covered this a little bit. So this is just going to be make it nice and succinct. What do you love most about our sport?
Yeah. So most, I would say, the racing component, and the family. Definitely being a part of the ASPK paddock and family.
Okay, perfect. All right, now on to life skills. So what life skills have you developed as a result of being
skills? So many. But yeah, I'm thinking it would have to be the resilience, and kind of like what I mentioned earlier with being strong and the thick skin, but the resilience and just the ability to be able to bounce back. You know, this industry is tough, and you do get rejected a lot, but I think I'm on to about, you know, my 6th life in this industry. So I only got a few left and then I'm out. No, I'll retire. I'll retire by the time I'm 40. No. So I think, you know, resilience and just the ability to, come back from whatever, you know, has happened the year before. I mean, sitting in COVID right now, we don't really know what's going to happen. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with some of the things I'm involved in, but just got to stay positive and know that, everything will happen and the way it's going to happen, you know, hopefully everything will be okay. So I think resilience from this industry is definitely what I can take away.
Yeah, resilience is definitely an extremely essential skill. I'm also a school teacher, so we talk a lot about resilience. And I think that something that I've just taken away from this is, as a, you know, grown woman, very successful, you're still learning things like resilience. And that's something that I can take back to, you know, 13-year-old kids and say, we're not expecting you to be resilient today, but it's something that you're continuously working on and you can only get better at. So that's really cool. Yeah, great answer. All right, I love this question. Is if you could write a letter to your 16-year-old self, what message would you give?
That is such a hard question.
It is. Where do you want to take it?
16. That was a long time ago. Okay. I would say calm down. Because when I was 16, it was all about, my enter score and, numbers and my future and, what uni I was going to get into. And I was just such a stress ball. So I would probably say to stress less and focus more on life experience than numbers, which, I'd probably say that to my 34-year-old self now. Stress less. Probably writing myself exactly the same letter. But I think it would be focus a bit more on the life experience and less on stressing so much.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a great one.
Although the stress did get me into Melbourne Uni and into the path that I'm in now. So, couldn't have been so bad.
Yeah, well, that's very true as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're not stressing about it, you obviously can't care too much about it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Alrighty, so this will be a bit different. I think your answer to what we get from competitors. So I'm really looking forward to your answer to this one. What is the popular question you get asked about motorcycling?
Everyone always says to me, have you met Valentino Rossi? Whenever you say...
I'm surprised I haven't asked you that myself.
It's so funny because you say you work in car racing, people automatically think you just work for F1. You say you work in motorcycle racing, people just think you work for MotoGP. There's no different classes, that's it. I also get a lot so you just watch bikes go round and round. That kills me. Absolutely kills me. But I do get asked a lot, what's Troy Bayliss like? There you go, Troy, if you can hear this. And I'm like, oh, that guy. Now, I do get asked that a lot. Everyone loves Troy. Don't worry, I say you're an absolute legend. That's probably what I get asked the most. What do you get asked?
Well, as a rider, it's how many injuries have you had? But I think that's across the board. Girls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, anyone else?
Yeah, I think those are the ones that I get asked the most. Yeah.
Okay, and so what about just a bit of a spin on this question? What is the most popular that you get asked because you're a female in the industry? Do you think there's any special question that wouldn't get asked if you were a male presenter?
I probably get asked do they all try and pick you up? That's terrible, isn't it? The girls ask, are there any hot riders? And the guys ask, do they all try and pick you up? That's probably what I get asked. Oh God, I don't know. What was the question again? Any
particular question that you get asked because you're a girl? Definitely the ones that you just said.
Yeah, that's probably the typical. Yeah, I guess everyone just asks, is it, is it difficult and is everyone nice to you? And do people take your interviews and stuff like that? So, the typical female questions, I guess, is being a woman in a male-dominated industry. Yeah.
All right, so sort of moving towards the end of our conversation, but I guess as a whole, motorcycling sport is certainly changing across all disciplines in all areas and is being more inclusive to women. And there are lots of different women in the industry that really stand out as paving the way. And moving into this role is as one of the committee members with Motorcycling Australia. And like I said, off-road background, I don't know a lot about other disciplines. Your name is one that does keep popping up. So thank you very much for being one of those women that is really helping to push the boundaries of our industry, because there is no reason that more women shouldn't be involved, because it is fantastic. Is there a message that you think that you might like to give to women out there who have kind of been on the sidelines and wanting to take that next step, whatever it might be, to put on a helmet or to wave a flag or to go spectate, whatever it might be? Is there any message that you'd like to give them?
I think honestly, just give it a go. I've seriously thought that I was not good enough to do this job because I thought that passion was not going to be good enough to work in the industry. but it really is. The other stuff can come later. Like, I had to come in and learn about, like, yeah, I watched supercars, but it didn't mean that I knew the ins and the outs of the engines, the cars, the drivers, but I did it. And that was my number one step. And that was in 2014. Fast forward to 2020 and look where I am now. You can do it, trust me. So just make sure that you're, strong enough, that you build a little bit of thick skin, like I mentioned, but give it a go. You've got nothing to lose whatsoever. Give it a go. Sell yourself a little bit, network, that's really important. Have a bit of support group around you, chat to your friends. But yeah, just try. There's honestly nothing to lose. But there is a really big reward at the end of it. So that's my advice to any girls out there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I guess, any negative outweighed by all of the many, many, many positives.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 34 and I still have so much to achieve. Like, I don't even feel like I'm halfway through where I want to go, and I'm 34. So to any young girls out there, just try now. Yeah.
Cool. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much, Emma, for joining us. I really enjoyed talking to you. This was really interesting to hear your perspective of ASBK and motorcycling as the presenter and someone who has spent the last few years moving through the motorcycle industry. And yeah, I look forward to keeping in touch with you and seeing how the next few years go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I miss everyone. I can't wait to see you all at the racetrack so soon. Thanks.
Thank you.